So when I was 20 years old, the most exciting thing happened to me. At the exact same moment, the worst, most miserable thing happened to me. I got sick, and when I got sick, I thought that my life was over. I thought that I was going to die. And I made a deal. I said, God, if you can get me through this, I will live a life that means something. I was scared of dying at that moment. And I said, if I can just do it, I will do whatever it takes to get there. Now, luckily, I got better. But now I was stuck in a position where I had to uphold my part of the bargain. So I said, okay, I gotta be successful, I gotta do something big. What am I gonna do? I have no idea. I was a kid from the projects in Brooklyn, New York. I had no resources, no money, no connections. But I started reading books. And one idea that got beat into my head over and over and over again is it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? It's not what you know, it's who you know. So I said, all right, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to a bunch of events, I'm gonna meet a bunch of people, I'm gonna make it happen. So I started going to these events. The challenge was I started meeting tons of people, and I was excited about it. I would collect a bunch of business cards, I would email people, and you know what happened? Nothing. Nothing. And it was unbelievably frustrating. I didn't understand something. There's a great quote from W. Clement Stone that said, "Little hinges swing big doors." I was doing all the big things right, but there was a little hinge that I was doing wrong. I want you to imagine this as an analogy. Let's say you have a very long email. And in that email, there is a letter O, but you think it's the number 0. You can have everything right, but if that one little thing is off, the message doesn't get sent. Basically, what I was doing when I was meeting all these people is I was trying to impress them with how awesome I was and all the cool stuff I was going to be able to do. Have you ever had a conversation with someone where all they do is talk about themselves? You can't wait to get out of that conversation. Everyone I met couldn't wait to get away from me. And it took a long time to figure this out. But then I started asking myself, okay, what really is it about? And it's this idea. The idea I'm about to share with you changed my life more than one idea that I could think of. The idea is this: it's not really about what you know. And it's not really about who you know. What matters is who knows you and who likes you. Think about this for a second. If you have a job that you actually like, the odds are high that someone you know who likes you, who trusts you, who believes you would do well in that position, probably said, there's this thing that's opened up, I think you'd be a good fit, I'd love for you to go and do it. Think of any opportunity that you've been a part of. Chances are it was someone who knew about it, who liked you, who decided to say, this person deserves a shot at it. That's what likability is. Likability is the art of getting people to say, I want to see this person succeed. But here's the funny thing about it. Most people have a completely skewed viewpoint on what likability really is. They think it's about the most outstanding person, the most energetic person, if they're an extrovert, or if they're gregarious, or if they have these skill sets and all that. It's not really what it is. Because what I found was the most frustrating thing in my research and my experiences. By the way, I'm a big believer in reading and getting research, but I'm a huge believer that what happens in a book and what happens in real life sometimes don't always correlate. So whenever I learn something, the first thing I would do is say, if someone says this works, let me apply it in the real world. So I'd learn these ideas and I'd apply it. It's still not working right. Because I was trying to become someone that I wasn't. I was trying to emulate all these other people, their personality types. But here's the crazy thing. You've got quiet people that are likable. You've got loud people that are likable. You have short people, tall people, people who are funny, people who are stoic. All of these different personality types can still be likable. But how? It's because they have certain elements. There's certain aspects about what they do that's universal across the board. Now, likability is important because if you do not understand this, you're going to find yourself in a position, and maybe you've seen someone like this. Maybe they get constantly looked over for promotion. Or maybe cool things happen and they're never the one to know. They have all the skills in the world. They know all the right people. But it doesn't pan out. Likability comes down to this. I've learned tons of different things on likability. I've written about it, I've podcasted about it. There's tons of things that make it, but there's one umbrella, one granddaddy clause of them all, that everything I believe falls under. And it's this simple idea. To be likable, you first have to become interested in people, and then they will become interested in you. Or you can say, if you're interested in people, you become interesting to them. Think about this for a second. Remember the last time you had a conversation with someone who thought you were the best thing in the world? You did this, tell me more. You did that, what? Like, it was the most exciting experience. You wanted to tell them more and more. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to put on a hat and imagine that you're a detective. Imagine every time you meet someone, you want to find out something amazingly fascinating about them so you can help them, so you can find out more about them, so you can see them succeed. Don't ask for anything back. Just care solely about that person. And see how many cool things start coming back to you. See how much life you start having. And by the way, if you already know someone, imagine that between now and the last time you saw them, something fascinating happened and you have to discover it. If you live that life, you're going to help other people achieve their goals. You, by definition, will achieve more goals. And in my belief, you won't be afraid of death anymore. I won't be afraid of death anymore, because you'll know you lived an awesome life.